Is Pikmin 4 the fourth game in the series? This is a question numerous people have been asking. And to answer it briefly, Pikmin 4 is more of a reboot in the timeline rather than the fourth game chronologically. Now, you might be wondering why that's the case, and I'll explain that in this video. The game isn't the fourth in the series for a few reasons, and we can draw many conclusions and theories as to when and where Pikmin 4 is taking place. To explain everything, let's just start from the beginning. The game starts off with Olimar mentioning that he crashes on an unknown planet, PNF 404. If this was the fourth game, the planet wouldn't be unknown given that he's been here multiple times already. He also mentions that he needs to repair his ship, and he was doomed until he discovers the Pikmin who help him repair it. Many people have been saying this, but again, Olimar speaks as if this has never happened to him before. Due to this, lots of people like calling it the bad ending from Pikmin 1, and this is partly correct, but poorly worded. It can't be the bad ending because Moss the dog is here, and the locations are all different from the first game. So this game essentially works as an entire reboot, or at least it seems that way from the information we currently have. There is a possibility that Pikmin 4 falls in between the other games. I don't think this is the case either. Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 are confirmed to be chronological to each other, so just shoehorning Pikmin 4 in between the first and second game doesn't make sense at all. So if it's not the bad ending, and it's not somewhere in between, it has to be a brand new timeline, right? This is the current best guess. Again, Nintendo could do something crazy and come along with some information that makes it all come together, but we don't have that right now. Continuing on with this game being a reboot rather than a continuation, there has been a data mined leak from the demo. Now, again, it's a leak, it's a data mine, so take it with a grain of salt. In Olimar's journal, he mentions that he had a dream about a coworker putting the company into debt. So much that they couldn't pay it back. In other words, this is the story from Pikmin 2. Now again, this is a leak, it's not officially released. However, this piece of information literally confirms that Pikmin 4 isn't in the same timeline as the previous games. Or at the very least, the second game hasn't happened yet. Or maybe it just has some kind of Matrix situation where everybody's trapped in a simulation. I highly doubt Nintendo is throwing a curveball like that though. Alright, so it's a new timeline. What do we know about this Pikmin 4 timeline, and what's the game's story then? At the risk of sounding like a broken record, we know that this is Olimar's first time here. We know that Olimar was able to repair his ship to the point where it could start flying. We know that Olimar then crashes his ship as it's visible right in the main hub area. And we know that Olimar got turned into a Tomato Man. From here, there are a couple options. The first being that after sending out the SOS at the beginning of the game, Olimar attempts to leave and crashes. This kinda makes sense that in his desperation he tries to leave as his life support is about to give out, but at the same time we know that he waited a month before the rescue corps arrived, and then another while passed before your player comes along and starts the main campaign of Pikmin 4. Now this is still 100% possible, it's just not the most likely option in my eyes, given the other option. The other option is that something attacked Olimar, causing the second crash. Just think about it. The Pikmin run away, and Olimar wonders what could have done this. Nintendo didn't just add those dialogues for nothing. It's much more likely that something attacks Olimar, causing him to crash again. Now this could happen immediately after he sends the SOS, or just a little bit after. The timing actually isn't super important, just the fact that something caused Olimar to crash again, leaving him stranded for good. Potentially stealing an important part of the ship. After this attack, Olimar's life support eventually does give out, probably around the time the rescue corps arrive. And now with Olimar being the tomato leaf man that he is, he wants everybody to accept Denduri. Now this second option is very similar to the first one, but it works a little bit better for a few reasons. It sets up a villain or a final boss for Pikmin 4, and it also explains why Olimar crashed. And in doing so, it gives a more connected story from start to finish. So, who or what is the final boss for Pikmin 4? An evolved version of the Plasma Wraith seems extremely unlikely, since it's already very unlikely that this isn't the fourth game chronologically. Louis has a new render on the Japanese website and is pretty much confirmed to be in this game at this point. So maybe Nintendo just goes with the memes and makes Louis the final boss again. Or maybe it's something completely different. Some sort of creature or apex predator that causes the Pikmin to run away at the very start. This creature could be anything from a wraith, a big bug, a spider, some animal, Louis, or anything else in between. This is all just speculation and me theorizing, of course. We won't be able to truly tell what happened in this game or where it fits into the timeline, if it does at all, or if it's essentially a reboot, which is the most likely, until we actually play the entire story. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention the most important reason as to why Pikmin 4 can't be the fourth game in the series. That's because Hey Pikmin is.